So, welcome to a video where me and my buddy Peter, aka Sang, will talk a little bit about our impression with the second beta of the crew. Try to make like a few points about some of the key aspects in the game, what we thought about it, and what we hope we will see in the retail version of the game. First, welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm very good. Thanks.
Excellent. So we kind of made up a little bit of things we wanted to discuss, and first topic we had was our handling. I was playing most of the time with the hardcore settings with the gamepad, and you were using keyboard and sport, I think.
Yeah, at first I was on hardcore with the second beta, but that really messed up the driving. I could not handle the car without spinning out all the time. But later on, when I bought the Skyline R34, I could actually handle the car on hardcore.
Yeah, that was kind of my impression as well. Even with the gamepad that offers the analog steering, I found that counter steering when you're starting to drift with the first started cars was very hard and very unforgiving. Didn't
Yeah.
really feel like sim like, which I think the hardcore is aimed for. What do you think?
Yeah, sim-like. Yeah, it's not really being sim-like at all, but um, and I don't think it's meant to be sim-like either.
Well, it's an arcade game, but
Yeah,
I think the purpose. I think they said that earlier that they wanted to have something for everyone. So even like sim like control with even if it's an arcade racer. But in my point of view, they kind of failed on it. I mean, as you said, it's a huge difference when you get the higher level cars. That was actually way more manageable, like the
yeah,
Skyline.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, I think it definitely needs a lot of tweaking, and there was
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
some of these settings I didn't um, really didn't mess around too much with, but like steering linearity and gas linearity or whatever, acceleration or something.
Yeah, you could mess around with that and even change the uh, some things there with the handling, and it would affect people using a keyboard as well, even though that should not be the case.
Oh yeah, we talked a little bit about earlier about the trying to mess around to get around the
In,
slow steering sensitivity or whatever it was.
the input lag.
Yeah, as well. And also, you said you didn't have it with your car, but I used the Nissan 370Z as my starter car, and I had the impression it was the same thing with one of the muscle cars. I can't remember which one I had in the first beta. They would just like spin out whenever I tried to use the nitrous, but you didn't have it, and you used the Boss, I think.
Yeah, the boss in the first beta and in the second beta, I bought the Camaro.
And you didn't have the problems with the wheel spin with the Camaro in the first beta.
Um, yeah, it might be a bit hard to remember for me, but no, I don't recall anything like wheel spin that much because of NOS.
Okay. Because I could be on the fifth gear, and I would still
Yeah,
get a wheel spin when I used the nitrous. So it was like mildly effective to use it. You have to like tap it a lot to not spin too much and lose too much speed. And also, I didn't touch that, but the way it seems now, you should probably try to use manual shifting, because otherwise you had to like learn your car when to stop using the nitrous for it to shift properly into next gear.
oh yeah, I noticed that too because if you kept pressing NOS, uh, it kept over revving, and then at some point it actually shifted up. But you could better just press NOS for a while, and then when it entered the red zone, you should let go of the NOS, and then it would shift normally.
Well,
That would be the most efficient use of NOS.
like with the Skyline, I think it was like the sweet spot was 7,000 RPM. If you just like let go, then it would shift and you get fast shift. But otherwise, it was very hard with the new car to figure out when it was to shift. And some of the other cars, muscle car I bought that I use for the dirt spec, that could be very tricky. You could just like go up and down between 6.5 and 7,000 without shifting.
Wow.
So you had to like tap, and then it would eventually shift. So that was kind of annoying, and I hope they look into that.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm terrible with manual, I can shift up, but I always forget to shift down.
Yeah, I'm not used to that either.
No, too lazy, I guess. But yeah, but apart from that, the handling feels okay, even though the input lags destroys a lot of the feeling. So
Yeah. Really hope they fix that.
yeah. Tuning, we said a little bit about it. There's no really, like clear setting or message or whatever to figure out what actually the parts on your car actually has for impact on them. You had like speed, acceleration, grip, and braking, which you get like plus points in from the parts you own.
Yeah, that wasn't even really noticeable at first. You saw when you got the part that was a bonus for acceleration, for example, but that's all you saw actually. You didn't see that in the customization, or maybe you did, but it's hardly noticeable with the small font.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of tricky because I didn't really see any change, and we talked about this earlier, but there was a guy that posted a picture in our Facebook group when he was driving the Skyline, and he was topping out that 317 kilometers, and mine couldn't do anything more than 227. So I was wondering how did he achieve that, and eventually I found out that if I switched some of my parts that I had to top speed, and I had to do like 3 of them, and then it would also reach 317 kilometers. But with these 2 parts, no change. So you see like bumps whenever it gets like over a certain score of top speed or acceleration, but just like no real telling. You could very much notice the top speed, of course, but I mean, just 2 parts, you won't see any change. So I mean, what's the point of that then?
so you could downhill. You could get like a top speed of 297 kilometers an hour.
No, I think that was more or less in a straight line. If it was downhill, I could probably go a little bit over, but it wasn't more like 302, maybe, what I can recall.
Okay.
But yeah, that could probably be faster. But you're just talking about more or less flat or slight downhill. It was just stop at 297.
Okay. I think I reached 300 once, but that must have been downhill somewhere with the Skyline.
Yeah, but otherwise you just get in.
Exactly.
That was really odd.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like sort of limiter that's not working. Can't
Exactly.
fucking decide.
I really don't know how they do that, the engineering with the sounds of the cars and stuff, but it really sounds that it needs some fixing.
Yeah, because if you're actually hitting the top in terms of speed and rev, there should be a consistent sound, like
Exactly.
not like go up. It sounds like it goes from the top RPM down to like 6,000 or something.
Yeah, with it jumps, not even slowly, but it just jumps between those RPM amounts.
Yeah, fast. But you can see it if I could recall correctly on the RPM meter. Would still be jacked in the bottom of the whatever it was.
Yeah.
And also, it would be nice to see a test track.
Exactly.
To,
That
to
would be
actually
really
see.
nice.
Yeah, so you could have like a long straight to test out acceleration and grip to see what kind of impact they had, and also make it dynamic. I mean, if I add one part to acceleration, I should get increased acceleration. If I add one part top speed, I should get a little bit increase of top speed, not like a jump of 20 kilometers. That's just odd.
I I really thought that goes without saying, but I
Yeah,
guess not.
yeah, I guess not either. Well, I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but that's what I noticed from it anyway.
Yeah.
On to visual. Um, we talked a little bit about that as well. The visual customization that was available to us in the beta surprised us both in
Yeah.
how much there actually was available.
Well, in the rims section, we were kind of surprised about the amount of rims that were available, but
Yeah.
when we looked further, it kind of appeared to us that the number was a bit too big because there was like 4 or 5 colors for every rim.
Yeah,
So,
separated to one rim.
so you could actually divide the amount of rims by like 4 or 5, and then you'd get the real amount of rims that were available.
Yeah.
With
Still,
just
it was
four
a
colors.
lot, but
Yeah,
the interface was really clunky. They could have made a system that you select the rim and then you get like a drop down menu to change the color or something. That was just like, okay.
yeah.
So you went to rims like, oh, nice. I have 350 different rims or something. It's like,
Drop-down menu would be a very good idea.
yeah, took like 1 minute to get to the last rim from left to the right. Yeah, that was horrible. Also, we noticed that you couldn't change the paint on the rim, the paint job. There was no difference in size.
Yeah,
Can you change that? That's a huge letdown. I hope they have that in the retail version.
exactly. That would be a real thing for car lovers and people that customize cars.
Yeah, they were a bit too small now for the most of the cars.
Exactly.
And also, of course, like the modders, I love it. There were no custom vinyls.
Yeah. You could fiddle around with some colors, some paint only, and then some custom body vinyls, and that's all.
Yeah, but no free mode like in Need for Speed World.
Yeah, that's where you can really apply vinyls all by yourself and anywhere on the car,
Yeah.
and change colors and
And even with Need for Speed World, which had a very limited, editor, people managed to do just simply amazing stuff anyways.
yeah, exactly.
So I know window tinting for those that like that, and
Yeah, that
lowering
would be cool.
kits.
Lowering kits, yeah. I know people of that.
Most people, I like them. Not on all cars, but
Yeah,
or maybe the other way. I mean, like race them. There were some like the dirt spec were raced, but I mean, why not be able to race it like even further as on car?
yeah.
So racing kits, I'm not sure what the name is. You call. Yeah. So, do you have anything more on the visual department?
Other than oh yeah, the when you customize a car and you customize the bodywork, the for example the bumper, you try to change it, it comes off the car,
Oh yeah.
and then you can switch a part to another part, and then you really have to buy the part to be put on the car to check how it really looks.
Yeah.
And if it's off the car, you can't really see how good it looks or how bad it would look on the car.
Yeah, that was
so
really
that's-
horrible.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
I mean, I like the idea when you can see that to change the part, and I think the animation is cool. But complete the animation. I want to know how it looks on my car. It's like buying new pants and only like go halfway.
Yeah, not trying them on.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, this might cover my ass. I'm not sure, but I think it will.
It
But
just gets.
yeah, let's buy him. I can't return it, but hey, that was odd. Um, but yeah, but really big, choice of what you can do with the car, at least in the beta, and I hope they will increase that and also like the enable custom vehicles for people. That would be really cool to see some of the car designs in the retail game.
Yeah.
So about cars, I like JDM, and I pointed out that there are very few JDM cars in the
Yeah.
game.
That's a letdown.
So I hope they will look to increase that. I'm not sure if that's Ivory Tower that doesn't like JDM cars, or if it's like a licensing issue or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they have my Skyline, so I'm pretty pleased with that. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of other cars you want to see.
Exactly.
Engine sound, or the sound engineers, quite a sloppy job.
Yeah. That's really disappointment actually,
Yeah,
because when you drive at high speeds with the car, it just changes. The car sound changes as if you're changing gear. Well, you're not changing gear. You're at a steady speed, and it changes the sound as if it's revving down and up randomly.
yeah. Instead of having like real recordings of the actual RPM, they just like um, increase the pitch of
Yeah,
the engine sound, which is where you get that.
yeah. It's
Sounds
like
horrible, but the sound quality in general is quite low,
yeah,
which is sad because this is a racing game. The
yeah,
sound is important for everyone. Well,
exactly.
at least I like to think it is. I mean, I couldn't care less about music in a game because I always have it turn off.
Yeah, me too. I turn it off.
But it's okay, but nothing I really use in any game, more or less. Unless it's like really cool ambient music, but there's no ambient music in car games. It's like, oh, set the mood.
Uh, yeah.
So, what else?
About the cars.
Hmm?
Um, well, I don't think I have anything else to add.
We talked about the speed feel.
Oh yeah, they increased actually the speed feel from the first to the second beta. Um,
But it's still crap.
yeah, yeah, you'd like to see that improved a lot, because it really is like it's more like a game for people that want to do cruises and just do car shows and meetings in the free drive. But it's also a racing game with that's which and a racing game is basically only about speed. So
Yeah.
you would want to have that speed feel
Yeah.
like you have in other racing games.
Like when I showed you those videos from Grid 2.
Exactly.
It felt like crazy fast, almost controllable fast. And actually, it was the feeling I had when I played the crew a bit, and then I played some Grid Autosports. Even though I wasn't going that fast, that you just like felt like I was going with hyper speed compared to the crew. So yeah, they need to work out. Yeah, and also it's a feature they never told us about, slipstreaming.
Oh yeah, that was pretty surprising too, because that they actually have that kind of physics in the game.
That's
Uh,
cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of was surprised about that.
Um, I think it was when we were just like cruising around in free roam that we
Yeah,
noticed that, like, okay, he's catching up really quick when he stays behind me. And then I also noticed when I was playing PvP and it was actually someone else that knew about it and more or less stayed behind me for the majority of the last lap, and then use the slipstream to pass me on the like last rate. That was kind of annoying, but yeah, you can see a lot of speed increase, but it was too powerful. You got way too much acceleration from just slipstreaming.
Yeah, yeah. It could be really a way to win your races, and that would not be really a fair thing
No.
in races. Multiple, maybe.
I mean, I like the idea with slipstreaming, but make it less powerful.
Yeah, exactly. It would be way too unfair in PvP lobbies.
Mm-hmm. Because you could just be a little bit faster than a guy, but as long as you just stay on your tail, he'll still be able to catch up and pass you, even if he was driving sloppier.
The increase of top speed and acceleration is not like 20% in a slipstream.
No, I can see an increase from 30 kilometers per hour in 2-3 seconds or something.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That is twice the power from the nitrous, which is odd.
Yeah, that would be odd.
Yeah. Onto the world. You didn't really notice this or thought it was necessary, but I wanted to see a bigger variety of AI cars in the world.
Well, maybe that's a difference in our opinion. I didn't really notice much of the same cars, or it didn't really occur to me that there were a lot of the same cars. I mean, well, sure, I saw a few of the same, but I'm not really worried about that.
Yeah, I just see more variety. It's just always good. Can't be that hard.
Yeah, true.
And the spawning of the cars, of course.
Oh yeah.
It's just horrible.
Sometimes when you raced and you passed a few cars and then you look back and they were gone.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found.
Yeah, you pass them, but then you immediately looking at your rear view mirror and it was empty. The street was just empty. Ghost cars. And then if you were driving real fast, a car would pop up quite close to you.
Yeah.
Oncoming and driving in the same direction for you. So that was a little bit, meh. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. The cars in free roam were, yeah. Sometimes even when you hit the car, you somehow went around the car.
Oh, yeah.
Without hitting it, or without slowing down much.
I think that actually is there by a purpose. To if you're going for a long cruise, and if you just slightly touch a car instead of penalizing you with making the full crash, and then you have to watch the stupid
that's true
cutscene that would just nudge your car back into the lane. I'm actually quite okay with that, as long as it's disabled when you're doing PvP racing if you have traffic enabled. But if you're just cruising, I mean, just having those crashes would just be annoying.
Yeah, true. That would take a lot of time, and it would take a lot of fun out of the cruise, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you will crash if you go fast, but it could be a little bit annoying if you're just barely touching it and getting a full crash, especially with the handling being the way it is.
Exactly.
Better programming would be nice. So you don't have those guys coming down the interstate and then crossing the whole lane to go into the opposite direction.
I know, right? I see that a lot in other games too. That the traffic just makes you U-turn on a highway.
Yeah, they just don't give a fuck.
And it's really frustrating when you're driving at high speeds and on a highway, and suddenly a traffic car just turns into you and blocks you, and sometimes there's no way to avoid those cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if they switch lane and you can't react in time, but making something like a totally illegal move, well,
Yeah.
racing at 300 kilometers per hour, but something unlogical. So yeah, that would be nice to you like prohibit a car from making that turn across the lane to go in the opposite direction when coming down on a freeway.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, oh, I would also like to see indicators on the AI cars, so you could get a little bit of heads up when you're going to switch lanes. That would be nice.
Uh,
So on to the performance and the graphics. I had a problem, and I know a lot of other people had as well, which you didn't. The stutter and freeze.
I had some stutters sometimes, and I don't know. My system seems to be pretty well up to the job of running the game, and it still gives me stutters, and it doesn't really freeze the game, but it does stutter sometimes pretty badly, and I don't know why that would be.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm on a pretty high end system, but I actually had more problems with that than you did. I would include in this video as well if we were talking to it, but I had like if I didn't raise the app priority for the game to high or real time, I could have like bad stuttering. I had it in a race, PvP, where it lasted for like 8 seconds or something.
8 seconds?
Yeah, 8 seconds or
Wow.
something. Yeah, and the sound would also get stuck, so it would be like your computer really
Oh
froze.
my god, that would be like really. Am I getting a BSOD or
Yeah,
is my computer crashing? That would be terrifying.
yeah, it was the first time. I actually thought it would be B-Sod, but it didn't. It turns out it was just a game. So
Wow.
at least that's good. That it wasn't my computer, not the game stutters.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. I never got that uh, big of a stutter or freeze.
No, I'm not sure why it did that.
Yeah,
Um, some reason. I can only make a guess.
yeah,
I'm running an i7 that has something to do with poor multiplayer or something because you're running an i5, right?
yep.
So fewer threads, lesser problems, maybe. I don't know. I don't know really what the other guys that were facing the problems were using for kind of CPU, but it would be interesting to know if it's just related to Intel or if it's AMD as well.
Oh yeah,
Anti-aliasing or the lack of it, always horrible at times.
yeah. I, at first, I really thought um, there was some anti-aliasing, but at some point I noticed that there was no difference between the 4 times TXAA and the 8 times MSAA.
I
There was
thought the TXA was better than the MSA.
okay because I could not see any difference.
No, not much, but yeah, I thought it was most visible like on the cars themselves.
Okay, okay,
It's a
and
little
and
bit.
still it wasn't really uh, amazing
Yeah,
because even on the best uh, settings, it, you could see some edges here and there in the environment, and that was kind of disappointing.
yeah. The highest settings that was even labeled, I think, ultra and something, more like felt like close to high than ultra.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was the horrible grain filter at
Oh
night.
God,
That was so bad. That's such a bad idea,
why,
in my opinion.
why? Who thought that wasn't a good idea? I mean, have you seen how it looks? Really, uh, it looks like you haven't interlaced or something. It's horrible. Um,
You know
I,
when you rub your eyes sometimes really hard, you
yeah,
get that all those stars and stuff.
yeah,
That's how it looks sometimes.
yeah, more or less. Horrible anyway.
Yeah.
You could actually sometimes when it was dark, you could actually see more or less the pixels themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That was really,
That is horrible.
yeah.
It also still in the second beta also still locked to 30 FPS with the 60 FPS option grayed out or other options.
Yeah.
Kind of yeah, not okay. I'm a little bit alarmed by that.
Yeah, I hope they increase that to 60 at least.
Yeah, they have promised 60 in the retail, but I hope they would increase it even more to allow people with higher monitors to support high frame rates. But 60 is a minimum, of course.
Yes.
Also, this feels like you're playing a console port. I really hope they will amp up the PC version because, you know, you had like horrible pop-ins.
What do you mean?
Like when you were driving, you can see like a tree render like 5 or times or something when you closer you got to it. It was looking like really horrible.
Oh yeah, the field of view was really
Yeah, field of view.
had a
Well,
few
not really field
stages.
of view, but depth of field more
Yeah,
more. You can also, if you're driving like in the desert and coming up to like Vegas, the whole like town would just like pop up. Boom! You're driving.
yeah, that's something from like Need for Speed 2 or something.
Yeah, I mean they brag about, oh, if you can see it, you can drive it, but you know you can't really see it. But I can understand that you limit the draw view distance or whatever you want to call it, but it's way too low now.
Exactly.
I'm not really sure if they can't figure it out with their engine or something, but oh, yeah, we were also talking about how annoying it was with all the cutscenes that felt unnecessary.
Oh yeah. Getting into the safe house, you get a cutscene. Getting in the safe house, leaving the safe house, you get the safe house.
Cutscene.
You get two cutscenes.
No, you get three actually because you had two cutscene entering the safe house.
Oh,
You had one when your car would park
yeah,
outside, and then it just switched to you getting inside of the garage and driving down.
yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
two actually.
Wow.
You could skip both, but I mean, still, it would be
Yeah.
nice to have a feature to turn them off completely.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's nice when you like if you change something on your car or something to see, you know, when it drives out. That's kind of cool. But entering the safe house for the 50th time, I'm not really getting a boner by seeing that cutscene again.
Exactly.
Uh,
Also, entering a race, it gets pretty unnecessary to see all the cutscenes again all the time and having to press escape twice all the time.
oh, you meaning the missions?
Yeah, the missions, for example, in the post-race screens, uh, they get really slow. Sometimes you can't even skip them. Uh, when you're doing races, you want to skip screens as fast as possible. You don't want to wait. That's not about
Yeah.
racing.
Particularly if you're retrying an event
Exactly.
to get a better time score, or if you're just like farming or something.
Exactly. You don't want to wait. That's not something for a racing game.
Yeah, like when we're farming that takedown mission to get cash, and did it like 100 times or something. It's a little bit annoying to be fast and pressing the skip button. Those,
You could just hold down the enter button or something, or the escape button.
yeah, but an option to disable that would be nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Economy, you couldn't sell cars.
Oh yeah. I don't know if there's anything like you need a car spot or something in the headquarters for you to store your car. But if that's not needed, then you can keep all your cars. But if you need that, something like that, you would want to be able to sell a car.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least you wanted to sell a car to get the cash. I mean, if you
Exactly.
have a starter car and you don't like the car, you want to get a little bit of refund.
Exactly.
Because making money in this game, it's a little bit, it takes a little bit too long in my point of view. But it's still a beta, so they might change a lot. But we had to grind so much to get some of the more expensive cars and tune them visually.
Yeah.
And that was even with adding the changing the perk points to get a bigger payout than a discount.
exactly. Yeah, that was really. It took a lot of time to farm cash and get the amount you wanted, and I don't know if that's the way they wanted to be, but I thought it's it's a lot better if you don't have to farm all that cash for such a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it shouldn't be like, oh, you finish a race, here you go, 100,000, now buy two cars. But there should be like a little bit of effort of gaining the cash to eventually have the money to
Exactly.
buy a new car. But I could just like, I think even if they amped up the payment, we get to try out the 1/5 of the max level, and the change in payoff of the missions from the first mission to the last missions were like $100 or something. There was like no difference. So I mean, if you keep going to that, and then I want to buy my Lamborghini Aventador, and it's 2.1 million. It's like,
Oh my God.
yeah, how the fuck am I gonna get enough cash? I have to like farm a track for like 3 days consistently. But hopefully they work something out.
Okay.
Um, Multiplayer, they changed the voice chat off to default.
Yep.
I applaud thee.
That was a really good idea. They really listened to the community.
Yeah, I hate. I mean, in every game that has that feature turn on by default, people always hate it.
Yeah.
Always. Because for the most time, if you're in a lobby with five other people, you could be the only one that has a mic, and you don't even know it's transmitting. So you'll be hearing the other people like moan, or his shitty music keeps playing in the background, and you just annoy people.
Or just background noise like children or screaming or whatever.
Yeah, TV,
TVs, for example. Oh my God.
so annoying.
Yeah.
More annoying than people playing crappy music, to be honest. Well, also a little bit concerned about the 4 players in a group limit.
Oh yeah. That's not really a crew or a team. Well, it could be a
A
team.
team, a small team, but it's not a crew.
Yeah, that's not a crew. A crew is more like a bunch of people that uh, race together and at times, but not all the time.
Yeah. I wonder if the guys at Ivory have you ever seen like real racing? When the McLaren F1 pulls out on the F8, is there only 4 guys there? There was one racer and then 3 mechanics. That's it. No more. That's a crew. That's a crew.
It should be like 30 or something available.
I, in my point of view, I mean, make it like a clan or in any other game. I mean, why even have a limit or like make like at least I don't know 100 people or something? That's a crew. That's a big ass crew.
That would be awesome
Yeah.
if you could form a crew like that. But
Check.
um, as in the crew in game, 4 people, that should be at least 8.
Yeah.
Because,
Definitely.
yeah, because you want to be able to race against all those people at once,
Mm-hmm.
and not just 4 people. That would be a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, but it kind of feels though that they are putting a limit to 4 people, at least in missions. But you could do 8 players in PvP. So
True.
it would be nice to see the option to have at least 8 versus 8 in racing. I mean, it's been done in many other games. So I mean, why not here? It's not like it's hard really.
Hmm. Um,
Also, I'm a little bit concerned they name it faction team-based race, and crew is just like you and other random players in the world.
yeah, it's like a small group in Free Drive that you can do some races with or just chat around or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really determined what the point of that is.
Yeah, and I really do hope that text chat will be
Yeah,
in the that you must have text chat.
I know, right? Because 90% of the people are gonna turn off or keep that voice chat turned off.
Yeah, And if I play by myself, I just don't want to have my mic on and then it's like randomly say, "Hey, is anyone there? Hello." And people might not even be able to speak English that properly, but can maybe type English properly.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, and of course, when you do missions and particularly PvP racing, we need times. I want my lap times. I want
Exactly.
my total time. I want to see how far behind I was the guy that finished first, even though that would never happen, of course, because I always finish first. But times between players and that thing. I mean, it's competitive racing PvP.
Exactly. We,
And the missions, you get ranked by score. I don't give a fuck about the score. Do you?
well, score is nice, maybe. I mean, we're not the only one in the game, and people like scores. But racing is about times, especially uh, when time is recorded. It is the main thing to rank people on, and not the amount of hits you made in the race to other cars, maybe, or
Yeah.
the amount of time you were in first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the main thing of racing. That the main thing of racing is time.
Yeah. Time spent in first place is a cool feature, but especially when you're playing with the AI, that's totally random if you're able to pass them on the first few turns.
Exactly.
So you have to redo that track first like 20 times to be able to more or less master it, and then 10, 20 times more to be hoping that the AI fucks up in one of the early turns to get a higher score to increase your ranking.
Exactly.
Which
In
is
in multiplayer PvP lobbies, that might be fun to base it on scores, but in single player races, you want to base it on times
mm-hmm.
because people will be doing leaderboards and stuff
Yeah.
in single player, and they don't want to see scores and the amount of time spent in first place. They just want to base their ranks on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah, and you can like check other people's score, but you couldn't get details of them. You should be able to at least filter the leaderboard by either score or time.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see the option to filter them by lap time if available and total time.
Oh yeah, that would be a cool feature.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I hope they implement it. It's not hard, but well, you found out something that's hard: decimals.
Yeah, that's a pretty
That's
funny
what's
thing,
hard.
actually. A pretty amateuristic mistake in the game that there's these checkpoints that you pass, and when you pass these checkpoints, you get a time on your screen
Mm-hmm.
from you to the person in front of you or the
Yeah,
first person behind you.
the time difference between you.
Yeah, exactly. And uh, on that time, the first digit after the decimal is always a zero in the game.
Yeah, always.
Any race, use
PvP.
a PvP or single player race or co-op, it's always zero, the first digit after the decimal. And I noticed this in the second beta only, and I have videos of the first beta as well, and in every race it was like that.
Yeah, that's really sloppy to miss that one. That's got to be like some just like programming fault or display fault or something. Because everything else is like whenever you get split time or something, they would be the digits after that would be different.
Yeah.
So.
Those were actually correct, but they just pasted in a zero in between.
Oh fuck! We need another digit. Let's go zero. Nobody noticed. Oh yeah, but yeah. To sum it up, the beta is still really buggy. So we're getting a console beta later this month, and then I really hope that we get a third beta for the PC because there's still a lot of issues with the game. And in my point of view, I'm still really excited for the game.
Exactly, me too. I
And
really want to play the game.
yeah, I won't cancel my pre-order. Well, I will because I would be getting the gold. So,
Same here.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's something else that maybe I could mention. The DLC seems to be like I thought it would be, cars only. There was a description that said that DLC for those car enthusiasts that want to increase the size of the garage.
I see.
So season pass and DLC seems to be cars only, the way we suspected it would be. They won't be adding anything to the world really, other than maybe a few events and missions, but it won't get bigger with DLC.
Okay.
Yeah, and also now apparently Steam and Uplay has the same kind of offering. So the Gold Edition is the limited edition, but with the season pass. That's now clarified.
All right. So that determines my decision on canceling my limited edition and ordering the gold edition.
Same here. All right, but me and Peter might be back later on if we get to try another beta or something comes up just to discuss it. But I hope you guys that you found this useful, and if you have anything else that you would like to comment on, like your input on the handling or cars or whatever, feel free to post in the comment. That would be really fun to see what you guys think. Thank you for your kind words, Peter, but ask me how I am. And but thanks for your input on the game. We're both looking forward to play this, and we both love car games.
All right. Thanks for having me in the video, and see you guys later.
Yeah, take care.
See you.
Bye.